met in the university. That meeting ended up with us getting eventually married and having 5 children. Abuse, however, started even while we were still in the university. It was in the form of more of controlling how I talk, with whom I should converse when there's a group, how I dressed. And at that time, well, I didn't really know that it was a kind of abuse. I was young, he was young, and everybody was young. So, and I didn't mind it because, yeah, well, I didn't have any notion of what domestic violence or abuse is. So it continued, and then it went on when we got married and had children. It went on to more serious forms of physical abuse, of family abuse, which included physical abuse, mental abuse, psychological abuse, emotional abuse. Not financial though, because I was working and earning a lot of money too. So that was not in the thing. Now, Councillor Pereira, she said something which sort of had a which I thought was very relevant to what was happening to me, because he said that it was the idea of what happens in the family should stay in the family, and I've had that feeling all along. So when the abuse was getting serious, I was always of the mind that, look, I got myself into this. I will try and resolve it in the way that I think it should be resolved. But what is really happening is, violence happens and then it dies down, and then the family goes on and becomes like a regular family again until it starts to happen again, and then well, I mean, what I'm saying is the cycle goes on, and pretty soon it becomes the regular, because becomes a normal in the family, and even the children have adjusted to the idea of, oh yeah, there's violence and then a lull and everything's okay. We go to family picnics, we attend parties, and even the children have adjusted to behaving as though everything was normal, you know. So since it went that way, I thought, well, I guess that's the way it should be. And you know how resilient Filipinos are. And someone said, the Filipino women's concept of suffering and martyrdom. I think I had that, right? So I thought, well, suffering, I can suffer. But what I should have had in mind was, even, well, the children were resilient, but I didn't really think about the effect that it had on them. In that way, now that I'm thinking about it, during this pandemic, right? Because we've been in a lockdown, I've thought about how neglectful I was to have not thought of what the effect was on my children. So and then we were petitioned by my sister to get to Australia, and I thought, oh, good. I'm sure that when we get to another country, it will be different for all of us. Well, I should have known that we were the same people, and a change of setting, a change of country will not change anything. So the abuse went on, and I because we have been used to it. So we went on as if nothing was happening. And I was working such that in a profession where I was helping out women who were in a domestic violence situation. And it was so funny because I was helping them, and I was in fact one of them. And it was only uh, after so many years of domestic violence that a friend of mine who knows me and who has known me working in that field said, "Look, why don't you just get help? I will help you." And then I thought, yeah, why not? So it was then that I took her help, and I was referred to the people who who were going to help me, who helped me actually. But then the children were then adults, right? And so whatever harm or damage has have been done already. And thinking about it now, I am I am really regretting the idea of not getting out of the situation when I could have a long time ago. Uh, I yeah, I guess that's I guess that's what I want to say now.
Um, Encarnacion, can you talk about the role of the police?
Oh, okay. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, where here in when we were in Australia, when the violence was getting really bad, I called the police several times, but their attitude was such that uh, it seemed like they were siding with my husband, because you know how it is when you are in a violent situation, a woman, then you're hysterical, right? Because you're the victim. You cry, you hardly can talk. And the my husband, the perpetrator, was very calm, presented himself as a really kind and, with good manners. And I was just a historical mess, right? So so they just went away without really doing anything about what has happened. They just said something like I'm sure you can sort this out by yourself. Eh, eh, and that was that. So and also it took me a long time before I got the phone to call the police, because we have been trained by my husband, the father, to to say that, look, we're in a different country. What is happening in the family should should just stay in the family. Nobody else should know what is happening. This is our problem. Now, I got uh, um, I was at that time I was already going to counseling, community counseling, and I was told to get an intervention order against my husband to get him out of the house. And indeed, we went to the magistrate court. My husband didn't attend, and the magistrate just said something to the effect that I'm not going to get this man out of his house, blah blah blah. I couldn't remember anymore what we were saying, because I couldn't believe that he was not that he was not prepared to get my husband out of the house. So at that time, domestic violence, I guess, was a very important problem, or not regarded as a very important problem, so that, yeah, you stay a victim even after you've sought the help of the people you thought would help you, the police. Yeah, it also happened one time in we were in the car, my and I think at that time we were arguing, and I think my husband parked or something like that, and the police came over and he says, "What's happening?" And I started, you know, hysterical saying what was happening, and he said, "Oh, okay, okay. I think you can sort this out when you get home." So that was the idea.
Yeah.
You're left to yourselves to sort things out and when it's obvious that you cannot do it.
Thanks, Encarnacion. And I understand. It took you how many years before you finally
Oh my God, about
got him out?
30 years, 35 years.
So this was really a long, long suffering
Yes, it is.
situation. Thank you so much, Encarnacion, for I know I mean I can feel the pain as you speak.
Yeah.
But we're all here to actually find solutions.